Good morning, students. And we have started a new chapter, reproduction, the generating system. We have already seen the introduction part of the reproduction. On that, we also have learned about asexual mode of reproduction. Okay, in the asexual mode of reproduction, the last one is regeneration. Okay, what is that? Regeneration. So in the regeneration, so let me see. Many organisms have the ability to give rise to new individual organisms from their body parts. That is, if the individual is somehow cut or broken up into many pieces, these pieces grow into separate individuals. This is similar to fragmentation. Okay, in the regeneration process, if by suppose the organism has been cut into segments, it automatically forms the whole body and it reproduces into the half springs. Okay, so any part of the body is being broken and again it may generate the whole body. Okay, in the planaria, in the planarians, so what happened if the body is cutted in the form of segments? So these segments will form the fully organism. Okay. Again, this half will form the tail part as well as the head part. Okay, and this part, the tail part, will form the fully planarian. Okay. Is regeneration can also be known as a type of fragmentation? Do you agree? Why or why not? Which type of fission would produce large colonies in less period of time? Why? Which mode of asexual reproduction provides maximum scope of choice of desirable characters? So here as we see that in the fragmentation process too, what will happen if the body of a parent has been cut into fragments? Again it will form the fully grown organism. In the regenerating process too, what will happen? We will be able to see the fully grown organism. Okay. Next, about vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation in higher plants, vegetative propagation may be natural or artificial. So we can see this vegetative propagation either naturally or artificially. Okay, natural propagation through leaves, stems and stolons. Okay, through leaves and stems. In bryophyllum, small plants grow at the edge of the leaves. Okay. If we see the bryophyllum leaves, we may see small plants growing on that leaves. Okay, you can see in the figure 6. Okay, next stem, aerial weak stem like runners and stolons, when they touch the ground, give off adventitious roots. When the connection with the parent plant is broken, the stem portion with the adventitious roots develop into an independent plant. Some examples for propagation by stem are from stolons, bulbs, corms, tubers, etc. Okay, in the aerial weak stems like stolons and runners, what will happen if first suppose any part of the plant body has touched the ground, again they form adventitious roots and again from here originate. Okay. So, and they start living independently. So, these kind of propagation is seen in stolons, jasmine and strawberry. Next, bulb, onion, rhizome, ginger. Okay, we can see some root-like projections coming from the ginger. Okay, next. So these separate from the plant and survives independently. Okay. Next about artificial propagation. Okay. In the artificial propagation, first one is cutting. Some plants can grow individually when a piece of the parent plant having bud is cut off from the existing plant. The lower part of the cutting is buried in moist soil. After a few days, the cut part having buds grow as an individual plant after developing roots. Examples, rose and hibiscus. So, in rose plants and hibiscus plants, we can see cutting. Okay, if we cut a piece of stem from the parent plant, what will happen? Again, it starts growing root system as well as shoot system. Okay, so mainly it is seen in hibiscus and rose. Next, layering. A branch of the plant with at least one node is bent towards the ground and a part of it is covered with moist soil, leaving the tip of the branch exposed above the ground. After a few days, new roots develop from the part of the branch buried in the soil. The buried branch is then cut off from the parent plant and the part which has developed roots grows to become a new plant. So, for example, in the layering process, so if we take a plant and we have made it, for suppose it is bended towards the soil, okay. So, and its stem part is, at least 2 or 3 leaves will be above the ground, and here the under part, the stem part will grow the roots and it starts becoming a new plant, okay. So, such is, example is nerium. Next, about grafting. Okay, you know about grafting. So, grafting is a process taken to join a stem from the other plant. Okay, so 2 plants are joined together in such a way that 2 stems join and grow as a single plant. In this grafting process, so we can be able to join the stems of the plants, 2 plants, and that 2 plants will consider as a single one. So, both stalk and skein are tied with the help of a twine thread and covered by a polythene cover. Grafting is used to obtain a plant with desirable character. This technique is useful in propagating improved varieties of plants with various flowers and fruits. Example, mango, citrus, apple and rose. Okay, if you have 2 varieties of fruit yielding trees in your garden, one tree has the character of giving big fruits but less in number. The taste of the fruit is pretty good. The other one produces more number of fruits but they are neither big in size nor tasty. So if our garden is having same kind of plants, one was bigger one and the other is short one, and this short one is producing lot of fruits and they are not tasty. This larger plant is producing very little amount of fruits and they are tasty. So we can be able to graft the 2 plants. Okay. Next, do you know? Cutting, layer and grafting are the traditional methods of artificial propagation in plants. Examples of plants produced in this manner are banana, pineapple, orange, grape, rose, etc. For commercial process, they are being replaced by the modern technology of artificial propagation of plants involving tissue culture. In tissue culture, few plant cells or plant tissues are placed in a growth medium with plant hormones in it, and it grows into new plants. Thousands of plants can be grown in very short interval of time. So nowadays we can be able to see about we are able to know about the tissue culture. Okay, so here they used to collect the few cells or plant tissues are placed in a growth medium which contains plant growth hormones. Through that they used to grow the plants in a very short interval of time. Okay, so artificial propagation in plants. Example plants produced in this manner are banana, pineapple, orange, grape, rose are the artificial propagation of plants. Okay, next by grafting a very young stem, that is shoot part of the plant, can be made to flowers and produce fruits at the earliest. Okay, by the grafting process we can be able to produce the fruits and flowers in earlier hours. Okay, next about spore formation. So generally we have learned about spore formation in the earlier classes. Okay, white bread-like structure and blackish powdery-like substance on rotten fruits, bread slices and other food materials. When you touch it, the blackish powder sticks on your finger. These are the reproductive spores formed by fungi. So on the bread we can see this fungi, and on the rotten fruits and vegetables, and also on the other food materials. So if we touch with our fingers, that black color powder will stick to our fingers, and those are known as reproductive spores. Okay, that is rhizophus. Rhizophus produces hundreds of microscopic reproductive units called spores. This rhizophus used to produce microscopic reproductive units called as spores. When the spore case, also called as sporangium, bursts, the spores spread into air. When the sporangium got burst, the spores will spread into air. These airborne spores, when fall on land, food or soil under favorable conditions like damp and warm conditions, they germinate and produce new individuals. So these spores when fall on land or on soil or on our food materials under favorable conditions like damps and warm conditions, they germinate and produce new individuals. Okay, fungi like Rhizopus, mucor, etc., a few bacteria and some non-flowering plants such as ferns and mosses reproduce by the formation of the method of spore formation. Okay, according to this spore formation, non-flowering plants like ferns and mosses and fungi use it to reproduce. Okay, now let us see about the Rhizopus growing on the bread mold. Okay, so for this we have taken a bread slice and we leaved it the bread in the open air for about an hour. So we have placed the bread slice on the open air, so it is exposed to the contaminants in the air. So what is happening here? This bread mold is this bread mold is exposed to the contaminants present in the air. Place the bread in a plastic bag, sprinkle water over it, have dampness, then seal the bag, leaving some air inside. Place the bag in dark warm place. A kitchen cupboard close to the stove may be one option, or you could place it next to a window with a bowl or lid covering it from the light. Mold will grow best in a moist environment. Mold would start growing in 2 to 3 days, but will take a week or more than that to form spores depending upon the weather conditions. Check the piece of the bread every few days and add some water if it is drying. Avoid opening the plastic bag as far as possible. If you touch the bread, be sure to wash your hands thoroughly. When sufficient mold has formed, you can prepare a silent examine it under the microscope. Okay, you would Find white is thread-like growth with masses of black, grey and green fine dotted structures. The black dotted structure is that of bread mold. Take a part of the bread or roti to school in a matchbox and ask your teacher to help you to make a slide and observe under the microscope. So what he is saying that he is asking us to take a bread slice. Okay. So it is exposed to the open air for a period of time. Next, he started placing it in a cover and he tied and he sprinkled some water and also he remained some air in this cover. Okay, he placed it near the window by under the bowl. Okay, after a week, we can be able to see the growing of Rhizopus. Okay, so we can be carefully taken out of the cover and before checking. So daily we have to check whether the water is dried up or water is in a moist whether the bread slice is in a dry condition or in a moist condition. If it becomes dry, we have to sprinkle some water. After sprinkling the water, we have to wash our hands thoroughly not to get the Rhizopus onto our hands. Okay. Next, materials required: mold sample, plain glass slide, cover slip, water, disposable gloves, etc. So what he is saying that he took a microscopic slide, he placed that bread slice here, he covered with cover slip and now he saw the under the electronic microscope he is able to find the bacteria present, the fungus that present on the bread slice. It consists fine thread-like projections called hypae. So this particular bread slice will contain hypae. Hypae is a fine thread-like structures present in the fungus. Okay. Thin knob-like structures called sporangia. It also contains sporangium. Each sporangium consists hundreds of minute spores. These sporangiums contains 100 minute spores. Okay. When the sporangium bursts, the tiny spores are dispersed in air. So when this sporangium has burst out, all the minute spores present in the sporangium will transfer into the air. Okay. Next. Sporophyll. Okay, ferns also produce spores. Collect a fern leaf which is called sporophyll. Observe the leaf carefully. On the lower surface of the leaf, you will find clusters of dot-like structures called sporangia. For some ferns, we can be able to see a dot-like structures present on the under surface of the leaf. Okay, these contain spores. Okay, when they gently rupture the sporangia, so we can be able to see the spores present in that plant. Okay, do you find any similarities between Rhizopus and fern spores and sporangia? Okay, as we know that all mosses and ferns do not resemble each other visually, they have botanical similarities. Both are plants with primitive origins that produce spores. Okay, so this Rhizopus will produce spores. Fern spores also will produce spores, and sporangia consists of spores. Okay. So these are released into when the bursting of sporangia takes place. These will travel in the air. Okay. What about mushrooms? Okay. Mushrooms grow from spores, not from seeds. Okay. That are so tiny and cannot be seen with a visual eye, and it supports the growth of mushrooms. Okay, the span will support the growth of the mushroom. Okay.